Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, September 30th, 2024, the last Monday in September. Look forward to going over all of the stats and how do we position ourselves this week to help our clients to be educated about the market. So thank you for joining us this beautiful Monday morning in Austin, Texas. Exciting day ahead of us, going over all that's going on in September and how September is closing out. So thank you all so very much for joining. Super appreciate it. 1 hour. Let's go ahead and hit it hard. Make the best out of this next hour. As you know, we always start our morning by looking over the new listing to pending ratio, the single best leading market indicator available for the entire Austin real estate market. In really quick recap for those that are joining us for the first time, this is a leading market indicator as opposed to months of inventory or absorption ratio where it looks at what's happened in the past. I'm a big fan of leading market indicators, whether it's the mortgage applications or the activity index. This right here is my go-to new listing to pending ratio. What this means is at a ratio of 1, so if you look at this column right there, a ratio of 1 is considered that perfect market equilibrium. That is where if you've got 1,000 listings that come on the market and 1,000 listings that leave the market, they get absorbed by the market, you're going to have a 1.0 ratio. Inventory neither goes up nor goes down. If you've got a ratio less than 1, that means that inventory over time would increase, but it really talks more about demand. That means that demand is less than the inventory entering the market because you have to take into account withdrawals and expireds. I don't track that on the weekly. We do track it on the monthly, but I divorce that ratio from the withdrawals and the expireds because I am looking at demand. This is in essence a demand ratio. That's what it is. You've got new properties entering the market, back on the market, and then we divide that by the number of properties that went active, under contract, and pending. A ratio less than 1 means that you've got a lower demand in relation to the inventory entering the market. A ratio higher than 1, you've got a higher demand in relation to what's entering the market. So inventory over time will increase when the ratio is consistently under 1. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go backwards in time and we're going to take a look and update the pendings for the previous week. The reason why we do this is because agents are really bad about updating property information, especially builders. So we do have to go backwards in time and we have to update the previous few weeks. We're going to take a look at September 16th all the way through the 23rd. Keep in mind that these are for residential MLS transactions. We're not tracking off market. We're not tracking anything that is not on the MLS. This is specifically for the ABOR, Austin Board of Realtors MLS. And we're also focused within the 6-county area. That's going to be Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, along with Burnett counties. 16th through the 23rd, pending, we are looking at 432. So we're going to update this to 432. That's going to increase the ratio up to 0.80. That's a good ratio. That is an encouraging ratio. I'm excited to see a 0.80. Let's go ahead and update the previous week from the 9th all the way through the 16th. That's going to take us up to 504, 0.76 ratio. We're going to go from the 2nd to the 9th. That's going to be 427. We're going to keep on going, you all, from the 26th to the 2nd. That's going to be 496, 496. We're going to go from the 19th to the 26th. That's going to give us 512. Let us keep on going from the 12th to the 19th. That's going to be 501. Let's go from the 5th to the 12th. That's going to give us 507. We no longer have to update anything previous. We now have the latest and greatest going back a few weeks. Now we can start updating this past week. Keep in mind, it is 10:06 a.m. on Monday. New price increase, price drop, back on the market, active under contract will all still update between now and 11:59 p.m. tonight. That is why I update this entire resource first thing tomorrow morning to reflect all of the locked fields, and that's everything up until the pending. The pending we will update, just like you saw. We had to go all the way back to what? We had to go all the way back to July almost, still updating the pending. 80% of the updates happen within 10 to 14 days, but you always have a few pendings that show up a month later. That's why we go backwards in time to get the real data. But tomorrow morning, go back to teamprice.com, Insight and Statistics, new listing and pending ratio, and you will see the latest and greatest, and then we'll keep on updating the pending. Let us take a look at this past week, 23rd through the 30th. And by the way, I love updating this for the last week of the month, because when we update the monthly tab, we can really get a sense of how much inventory came on the market, how many price drops, and how the entire month is closing out. New listings, 860 new listings. Interesting number, a little bit on the low side of things, but that's okay. Let's take a look at price increase, 138, more than last week. Already more than last week, 138 price increases, more than last week. What about price decreases? We're looking at 1606, 92%. We were at 93% last week, dropped a little bit to 92%. What is this percentage? That doesn't mean that 92% of all listings had a price drop. No, that means that out of all of the price increases or price drops, 92% were price drops. Let's take a look at back on the market. What's going on with this figure? We are at 163, positive also 19%. Active under contract, we are currently at 420, not bad. This is where you get to guess. I need 5 volunteers to go ahead and write it over chat. How many pendings do you think we've seen over the past 7 days? Keep in mind, this tends to be a little bit on the low end. It's not going to be anywhere close to 432 because, as you know, agents are really bad about updating pending information, and we're going to have a lot of pendings that are going to go on here later on today. We've got a few figures. We've got Melanie Price starting us at 298, JC at 312, Charmaine at 304, Sonia at 268. And we need one more person, one more volunteer to go ahead and just write down over chat. Bertina closing us off at 270. Let us take a look. How many? Oh, not bad, you all. 281. 281. So we are starting the day at a 0.69 ratio, meaning we're going to end closer to that 0.80 when we update this information next week. I will take that. So here we've got already last week or 2 weeks ago, the ratio beat out the previous 2 weeks, and we are positioned to have a better ratio than the 0.76. Now, it still means that demand is less than the inventory coming into the market. Still means that because we're not hitting that 1, but it doesn't give us that substantial increase in inventory. Does not. A substantial increase in inventory is where we see the ratio closer to that 0.65. That's going to give us a substantial increase in inventory. And you can see here that there's that 0.68 right there. We have to go all the way back. Look at this. We have to go all the way back to 2022. Remember that? 0.65, 0.64, 0.60. And what did we notice? A substantial increase in inventory. When you're closer to that 0.75 ratio, you're going to get what I like to call a tangible increase in inventory. You see, okay, well, competition is still there. Competition is increasing a little bit in certain areas. You will see the activity index pulling back in certain areas when you have a ratio closer to that 0.75. Anything over 0.85, really nice and healthy, good absorption to the market. You get closer to that 1, it's going to be a hot market. Over 1, a crazy hot market. Let us take a look how this compares with the previous few weeks, this is going to be year over year. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wait to look at this when I print this as a PDF. Let's go ahead and start updating the monthly information. First thing I'm going to do is delete the previous data that we put in. Let's go ahead and delete all of this so that we can update. As of this morning, we have 12,893 active listings currently on the market. 12,893. Last month, we had 13,287. This month, 12,893. Let's take a look at how many pendings for the previous month. We have to update this, 1849. Do we have to update the month of July? Let's see if we have to update this. This is going to be 1798. We do. Let's see if we have to update June. How many pendings for the month of June? 1861. Great. We don't have to update June. Now let's start updating all of September, and this is going to give us a really good handle on the entire month. 3,605, 3605 new listings came on the market for the month of September. September of last year, 3708. Right now, 3605. So we're going to have less new listings coming on the market. Even if we take into account new listings are going to be coming into the market between now at 10:03 and all the way to 11:59, we're not going to get, 103 new listings come on the market. I don't see that happening. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at last Monday, only the 23rd, there were 91 listings that came on the market last Monday. And this is the last of the month. So we're not going to get 103 new listings entering the market today. It's not going to happen, especially with it being the last day of the month. A lot of listing agreements will start at the beginning of the month, or they'll plan on listing the property towards Thursday, Friday time frame. Thursday and Friday are the top 2 days where new listings come on the market in our market. So we're not going to get that. So we're going to have less new listings entering the market September 2024 compared to September 2023. What about price increase? We are at 521. Less price increases compared to last month. Way less price increases compared to last year. Let's take a look at price decreases. We are at 6,111, 92%, little bit higher than August, 92%. August was 91. We're at 92%. Well, here's an encouraging one, 47%. Now, what this percentage is, it's price drop in relation to active listings. We were at 47 in April. We got up to 56 in July. We're back to 47. So that's good. Let's take a look at back on the market. How many back on the market? 705. 20%, exactly like the month of August. Active under contract. Let's see what's going on. 1651. A little bit less than last month. Are we going to get... 28 active under contract between now and 11:59? I'd say we are. I'd say we're going to beat last month. But take a look. This is really encouraging. September of last year, we had 1565. So we've already beaten last year on active under contract. That's really good. That's encouraging. Pending, 1433 pending. So there we've got a 0.72 ratio already beat to last year. Last year, 0.71. So we've got a better September this year compared to September of last year. Why is that? What do y'all think? Well, look at that. September last year. Let me go ahead and just make it to where it doesn't disappear. September last year, 7.2. September this year, 6.18. That is the average rate for all of September. But what are rates like right now? A little bit better than that, 6.125. Well-qualified clients, possibly right around the 6. And we've had many clients that actually were able to lock in under 6. FHA got down to 5.75. So that increased affordability. Year-over-year prices are down. Demand, therefore, increased a little bit. Not a huge increase, but enough for us to be excited. What about closed? We're at 2,153, 2153. We were at 2504 last year, 2789 sold last month. We're at 2153. We're not going to beat last month. Last month is going to be a higher number than this month. When it's all said and done, I'd say 2,500. Withdrawn. How many withdrawn? 764, 764. Less than last year. Last year, 850. So overall, September is turning out to be a better September compared to last year. 364 expired. That number is going to go up a little bit. Last year, we had 422. I would say that we're going to beat 422 on expired. Because what's going to happen is at 11:59 tonight, when we roll into midnight, a lot of properties are going to expire. I'd say we are going to beat the 422. We're going to get more than 40 to 60 expires between now and the end of the day. So we're definitely going to get that beat. Let me go ahead and move this to a different screen so that I can print this as a PDF and we can review some of the amazing charts that we are able to compile with this raw data. It's just going to take me a few minutes or so to create this as a PDF, so please bear with me so that we can get this published as a PDF, go over some of the charts. After that, we're going to look at the economic calendar, take a look at active listings, activity index, and everything else. Let's look at the comparison. Same week, year over year. What are we looking at here? We're looking at 104 less new listings. That's breaking the past 3-week trend. 18 less price increases. 373 less price drops. 34 less back on the market. 28 more active under contract. 183 less pending. 155 total. Last year, the ratio was 0.74. We're at 0.69 right now. We're going to beat last year. Here you can see the new list independent ratio versus the mortgage rate. Mortgage rate right now currently 6.08. This is the Fannie Mae mortgage rate. You can see the new list independent ratio currently at 0.69. Weekly price drop to price increase ratio, we peaked September 12th, 2022 at 96%. We're currently at 92%. Anything over 50% means that you've got more price drops versus price increases. Open house, 2,871 open houses were offered over the past 7 days. That number's been going up the entire year. Take a look at that trend line. And take a look at the monthly ratio, and let's compare the monthly data. Month over month, 394 less active listings month over month, 328 less new. Let's do year over year. Year over year, 1,383 more active listings year over year, September to September. 103 less new listings entering the market. This is going to be the 4th month in a row where we've got less new listings entering the market compared to last year. 161 less price increase. 666. Should have just added one extra one there. 666 less price drops, 54 less back on the market, but there's a good encouragement right there. So much so, this is the first time that we've seen a positive number on active under contract going all the way back to April. More properties went active under contract already this month compared to September of last year. This is great news. And you can see that the difference of negative 2.6%, it's the lowest difference that we've had since we had a positive number back in April. Interest rates caused demand to go up a little bit. Very encouraged to see that. Not by a huge amount, but by a little bit. Here we've got a drop of 14% on sold. This number is going to decrease, meaning it's going to improve, but we're still going to be on the negative side of things. I'd say when it's all said and done, we're going to be negative single digit, 5 to 6%. So 5 to 6% less sold properties September of 2024 versus September of 2023. Let's look at a few more things right here. Take a look at that ratio, this one right here. I want to see this one. And here we have 2 months in a row where the monthly ratio is better than last year. 2 months in a row. So we're having a better end of the third quarter this year as opposed to last year. And that's very encouraging. August and September turning out to be better ratio than last year. Very encouraging. Monthly new listing to pending ratio, you can see this is the best September that we've had, going all the way back to 2021. September 2022 was brutal at a 0.66 ratio. We saw an improvement to 0.71. Now we're at a 0.72. September's turning out to be a good month, and you can see that improvement right there from 0.66 to 0.71. Now at 0.72. When it's all said and done, we're going to be at about a 0.74 ratio as pendings go on the MLS. Active, let's take a look at active per 100,000 people for the month of September, 509. Highest number of active per 100,000 people going all the way back to 2016. But we are 2.9% below average on that. New listings for the month of September. So we have now the 4th September in a row where new listings are going down. New listings so far for the month of September, 3,605. Last year, 3,708. The year before, 4,037. The year before, 4,194. So less sellers are putting their homes on the market. Cumulative, though, this is where it gets interesting. We're less than we were 2022. We're higher than 2021. And we're 9.6% higher than last year. So when you look at everything that's come on the market, January all the way through right now, we're 9.6% higher than last year. But most of that gain was the first quarter. A lot of sellers put their homes on the market February, March timeframe. And then after the summer, there's this great pause going on with sellers putting their homes on the market right now. What's going on? Everyone's waiting for the spring. That's what's going on. What do I expect next year? February, March, a pretty substantial influx in listings coming on the market. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Let's look at a few more things. New listings per 100,000 people, same thing. This is now the third year in a row where new listings per 100,000 people are down. Cumulative, or this is back on the market. Let's do back on the market. Back on the market, 19.6 down compared to September of last year. And let's look at pendings. Wow, this is amazing. Pendings for the month of September. This is the 4th September in a row where pendings are down. We peaked 2020 at 5,256. We're at 3,084. That's a drop of 2.6% from a drop of 4.5, from a drop of 34. So you can see that everything changed after 2021. May of 2022 was the peak of the market. What about cumulative? Cumulative pendings, everything from January through September, we are down 1.5%. So we're at 34,554. We are still 7.2% above average. Let us adjust it for population. When you adjust pending per 100,000 people, we're at 122 pending properties per 100,000 people, down 5.1% year over year. Thankfully, we are over 2010. We're over 2001. But what about cumulative? 1,377. Cumulative. Well, this is where good news, bad news. Good news, activity picked up for September. Good news, September's looking better compared to September of last year. But when we annualize it, when we look at the cumulative number of pending properties from January 1st all the way to today, September 30th, 2024, we're having the worst on record. 1,377 cumulative pending per 100,000 people. Yikes. Are we going to get more pendings to close out the year, beating out 2010 or 2002? I don't think we are. I'd say when we look at this data come January, February of next year, and we're doing the entire year in review, I would say that 2024, when you look at pending transactions, it's going to go down on record as the worst year on record for pending transactions. That's just the way it's playing out right now when you look at the data. Because we're at 1377 right now. Just shocking, really amazing. Let's take a look at withdrawn. Let's look at cumulative withdrawn. Cumulative withdrawn plus expired, 9,905 properties. How many of those are going to get relisted come February, March? What do you think statistically? Because I pulled the data. Last year, I was curious. I was like, okay, well, how many withdrawns and expired properties for the entire year within a 6-month period of time into the new year? What percentage of them get relisted? What do y'all think? What do you think the percentage is of properties that get relisted after they've been withdrawn and expired? What do you think it is? Bertina says 45%. I thought it was going to be 50%. Let's put it this way. I'm going to give you a little teaser. I was surprised on how low it is. It's 27%. 27%. Yeah, 27.3% within a 6-month period, right? So I pulled everything that expired and withdrew, and then I went January all the way to June. Okay, so out of everything that withdrew and expired last year, what percentage were relisted within the first 6 months of the year? Not relisted ever. If we said relisted ever, of course, 50%, even higher, 68, sure. But I just had to do a start and an end period. And I wanted to capture the Austin selling season. And that was January all the way through June. So out of everything that withdrew and expired last year, and it was a dreadful exercise, I don't think I'll ever do that again. How many properties relisted within that 6-month period? Really interesting. Let's take a look at sold. Sold for the month of September, we are 7.4% below average. Cumulative sold, we are 9.6% above average, and that is really good. Now, let's adjust that for population. Sold per 100,000 people, I am glad to report that we are not having the worst September on record, because 2010 was slightly worse. At 81, we are at 85. 85 sold properties per 100,000 people. What about cumulative? I am happy to report that we are also not having the worst September on record. We are beaten by 2009, 2010, and 2011. That is cumulative sold per 100,000 people. The interesting thing is going to be looking at this for the entire year, for all of 2024, because we know that pendings are down. If something doesn't go pending, it doesn't sell. We are not going to be lower than 2010 at 916. But I would say that we're going to be very close to 2011. I'd say we're going to be under 2011, possibly under 2009 when we look at all of January through December, everything that sold. That's what I would say. Now, what about the ratio for the entire year? So far, right now, the ratio for the entire year is 0.77. That is the new listing to pending ratio for the entire year. So new listings, how many new listings for the entire year? So far, we've had 39,095 new listings the entire year. We've had 6,039 back on the market, 17,566 active under contract, 16,988 pending, 0.77 ratio. We've had 23,734 sold, 6,177 withdrawn, 3,728 expired, and you can see that we're at a 0.77 ratio for the entire year. Let's take a look at inventory as of this morning. 14,831 active listings in the entire MLS. All of the data that we were reviewing prior to this was the 6-county area. Now we're going to broaden that a little bit and look at the entire Austin area MLS. 14,861, 50 increase from Friday, 44 drop week over week, 106 increase month over month. Interesting. Very interesting. So we now have a higher listing count just month over month, 0.72, 20.3% increase year over year. We have 4,191 pending listings, 3% increase year over year. We're at a 22% activity index. And let's take a look at active listings. We're up 20.3%. Active listings going up a little bit. We did not see, well, we saw this big drop that we didn't see last year. This was a very interesting drop, but now that's going up. What about pending? Let's take a look at pending. There's pending. Pending, we are up 3%. We crossed 2023, which is really exciting. That's good news. We have more pendings on the market right now compared to last year. Activity index. We're down 10.4% on activity index. We had an improvement from the third week of August all the way through the last week of September. That's now going down a little bit. Why is that? Because the pendings are closing. When the pendings are closing at the end of the month, the number of pendings are down, and then we've got an increase in new listings. Activity index, pending divided by active plus pending. So if you've got less pendings because they've closed and you've got more actives, you're going to have a lower activity index. That is why we noticed this drop over the past few days. Now, we are 672 listings short of the all-time previous record of 15,503 active residential listings. That was set Monday, July 15th, 2024. I'm going to go on record saying that we're going to beat that number this year. We're going to beat that number this year. That's what I'm thinking. And the reason why is because you take a look at the monthly change and we're now up. We are now going up on the monthly change. We're over zero. That didn't happen. I mean, you have to go all the way back to January last year. We were going down from August all the way to December, and then it started going up. We crossed that zero mark January and then February, whereas now we've crossed that right here in October. Out of the 14,831 active listings, 56.9% have had a price drop, 40.6% have remained the same, and 2.5% have actually had a price increase. What about activity index? Let's take a look at activity index. We've got some improvements on that, which is really encouraging. We've got, some improvements. Some of them are hitting record lows. Austin improved from 18.3 to 18.4 to 18.7. Bastrop hit a record low at 16.7. Activity index, pending divided by active plus pending. Improvement in Buda from 29.5 to 31.7. Burnett improved. Cedar Creek improved. Cedar Park improved. Dale went down a little bit. We've got Driftwood. That's an improvement. Lago Vista improved 12%. Leander hit a record low, a 12-month record low at 24.8 activity index. And we've got a few other improvements. Let's take a look at activity index for zip code. And take a look at downtown Austin, 78701, 5.3% activity index. That is not the record low. The record low is for January at 4%. But the activity index for 01 went down from 7 to 5.3. And then you've got some zip codes that shot up. Take a look at 78724. Shot up from 14% to 27.1%, which is really amazing. Then we've got a few record lows. We've got 10.625, and you can see the entire activity index that's available. Keep in mind, you all, want to remind you that all of this information is available on Insight and Statistics. So if you are prepping for a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, or if you're just curious about the market, you can just go to activity index zip code and you can get this. This was updated very early this morning, so this is the latest and greatest. Let's look at months of inventory really quick. 78701, another 11 month of inventory. Now, when you look at the inventory, this is really fascinating. And you break it down per price point. The $700,000 to $800,000 price point in downtown Austin is doing fairly well compared to the rest. Fairly well. It's got a 13% activity index, which is still really bad, actually. But 7 months of inventory. But look at over $1 million. Over $1 million in downtown Austin. You've got 41.4 months of inventory. Let that sink in. 41.4 months of inventory, over $1 million in downtown Austin. Is that the highest one on the list? We've got 33 months of inventory between $500,000 and $600,000 in 78736. We've got 39 months of inventory in Spicewood between $700,000 and $800,000. We've got 39 months of inventory in Marble Falls, $500,000 to $600,000. Yeah, so right now, 41.4%, or not percent, but months of inventory, 4% activity index, 41.4 months of inventory, downtown Austin, over $1 million. Isn't that amazing? That's just incredible. And then you look at other zip codes, 78739, 0.6 months of inventory, insanely hot, 63% activity index. That price point, that zip code on fire. You've got 49, 2 months. You've got 50, 2.3 months. Just amazing. Leander, 34.5 months of inventory, 78645, over $1 million. Real estate's hyper-local, y'all. When people say, how's the $1 million market in Austin looking like? And I'm like, which $1 million market? Some of them have 0.2 months of inventory, 0.6 months of inventory, 1.8 months of inventory. Others have 41 months of inventory. Real estate's hyper-local. Let's take a look at type of market. When you look at the top 30 cities that we track, exactly half, 15, are still in a seller's market. 9 are in a neutral market. 6 are in a buyer's market. So give me the buyer's market. We've got Burnett, Cedar Creek, Dale, Lago Vista, Marble Falls, Spicewood, all in a buyer's market. You've got 30% less than 4 months of inventory, 70% more than 4 months of inventory. Let's take a look at the ones that are really close to the line. Oh, we've got one, and that's going to be Wimberley. That's going to transition to a buyer's market here in the next few weeks. Everything else is going to stay within a neutral market for a few weeks. But you do have Liberty Hill, Elgin, Manor. Liberty Hill, Elgin, and Manor will transition to a neutral market in the next 14 to 21 days, I guarantee you. Just by looking at the activity index, it's a guaranteed. So if you've got a listing coming up in those, just realize that those three cities, Liberty Hill, Elgin, Manor, are going to transition into a neutral market. Let's take a look at zip code. Zip code gets really interesting because we now have a few weeks in a row where we have less zip codes in a seller's market than in a neutral and a buyer's market combined. Out of the 75 zip codes that we track, 32 or 43% are in a seller's market, and the rest are in either a neutral market or a buyer's market. 23 in a neutral market, 20 in a buyer's market. Let's take a look at the graph to see which zip codes will transition into a buyer's market. I would say 3-4, Lakeway area. 3-4 is going to transition into a buyer's market. I think everything else is going to stay the same. And then there's Manor again. There's Leander. Manor and Leander will transition to a neutral market. Georgetown, 4.67 months of inventory. What's the activity index in the 78626? 78626 activity index. Let's take a look at this really quick. 78626. Now, let me look at the activity index history. 78626. Okay, a little bit of an improvement, 26%, puts us at about 4 to 5 months of inventory. But here's the thing. Why did the activity index in Georgetown go up from 19.3 up to 26? I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to take a look at the number of expireds and withdrawn in the 78626. 78626. Withdrawn and expired for the end. Oh, there you have it. We just got our answer. 16. 16 properties withdrew and expired in the 78626 zip code. Well, pending divided by active plus pending. If you have a reduction in the number of active properties for that month, what happens to the activity index? It improves. Not because the market improved, but because the ratio of pendings to active improved. So you've got 16 properties were removed from the market on purpose. That's going to cause inventory to go down. In relation to the pendings, the activity index is going to go up. So with this information and with this insight, I would say Georgetown will transition to a neutral market. 14 to 21 days will transition to a neutral market. What has sold? Let's take a look at pricing. So far for the month of September, the average sold price, $550,551. That is a 4% drop month over month. We're at a 5.3% drop year over year. We just hit $425,000 on the median sold price. $10,000 drop, matching the same drop August 2024. I'm going to do something here live. Let me do something really quick. I'm going to take a look at this morning while we are on this call, the 6-county area, because agents are updating sold information. Has the price moved up or down since I pulled this data this morning at a crazy early time, y'all? I pulled this data this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we're still at 425. $425,000, staying steady. Yeah, isn't that amazing? 425, down 2.3%. Month over month, which is the largest drop going all the way back to January at 2.8. $25,000 drop year over year. So that's going to give us a 19.27% drop from when the market peaked May 2022. Let's take a look at median price. Wow. $125,000 drop, down 22.73%. Ain't that amazing? When you compare the median sold price compared to 24 months prior, we're down 9.57%. 36 months prior, we are down 5.56%. I did update the lease market cycle, but we're going to have to go to lease statistics, lease market cycle. Let's take a look at leasing really quick. Let me go ahead and just download this so we can see the entire thing. I want to download it so that I can open on the entire screen. Let me go ahead and just open this up on the entire screen so that you can see everything. There we have it. Lease. We're down $11 on the average lease price month over month. We're down $45 on the median lease price year over year. And we're down 2.38% when you compare the lease price compared to 36 months prior. Wow. 36 months prior, where does that put us? Let's take a look at this. Median lease price. 36 months prior puts us at $2,100. No. Does it? Yeah, it does. $2,100. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. $2,100. So we're at $2,095 October 2021. We were at $2,100 November. Are we going to beat that number by November? We'd have to go down another $50 month over month between now and November. I could see that happening. I mean, look at the trend. 2250, 2275, that was an increase. But this does tend to be the key leasing months. Prices do go up. Take a look at this. This one right here. Month over month increase. So we do have historically a 1.3, 1.2% drop in October. Well, a 1.3% drop on $2,100, you're looking at $30. So are we going to have a negative 36-month comparison last month? It's a 50-50. 50-50 chance we're going to have a negative 36-month comparison on the leasing side of things. All right, this is a little trivia for you all. If today is the absolute bottom of the market, if today is the bottom of the market, and everything is on the upside from today until the market reaches its peak value of $550,000 median price using the annual compound appreciation over the past 25 years. When is the market going to go back to this? Right here, back to the median. This right here, this is the median. Let me go ahead and just draw a line right here. This is the median. Right there, that's the median. So when is the market going to go back to this one right here? If this is the bottom and the market keeps on going up from today on. How long will it take you all if we use the average compound annual appreciation over the past 25 years? Let's do some guesses. I need 3 guesses over chat. When do you think the market is going to return back to this? What do you think? Okay, we've got Sonia, May 2029. Okay, good guess. I need a few more guesses. Mark saying 30 years. It's, that would not be statistically correct. But okay, so we've got 2030. We've got our 3 guesses. All right, y'all. March 2030. The Austin 6-county area has appreciated at a compound rate of 4.943%. Assuming that we've reached the bottom of a market correction where the median sold price today is $425,000, it will take 61 months, March 2030, to return to a peak value of $550,204. Isn't that amazing? That's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Here's another thing that just happened over the past week. We went negative on the entire year. This is where we take everything that closed. What is the average price of everything that closed? All 23,594 properties. What is the median sold price of everything that closed? And this was positive up until today. This is the first time it's gone negative. We were positive comparing everything that closed this year compared to last year. Now, last year, we were down $51,520. We were down 8.3%. On the median side, we were down 10.2%. But we are now on the median side, we are down both for last year and we are down for this year. Now, when do you think the last time this happened? Where we had 2 years in a row where the median sold price was down year over year, 2 years in a row. When do you think the last time this happened? What do y'all think? Well, let me show you. The last time this happened, oh, wrong one. No, 2008, we were only down 2009 by 1.5% on the median side. On the average, we were down 2 years, but on the median, we were only down 1. The last time this happened, beautiful people, is let's take a look at it. There we go. Last time this happened was 1988 into 1989. That's the last time we had year over year median price that actually went down. 1988 into 19, and there we had multiple years. It was like 4 years. Really interesting. But yeah, first time since 1988. It's just amazing. On the median side, of course. On the average side, we've had 2008, 2009. But then look at these prices. Down 1.2, down 2.9. And then here, 8.3 and so far 0.1. Really interesting to see these numbers. Really, really interesting. Well, let's take a look at the economic calendar, see what's going on with the bond market, see what is happening with rates this week. Let me go ahead and show you what is going on with the economic calendar. What is going on today? What can we expect for this week? We did have 2 bond auctions that just happened. Both of them better than previous. We had the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index down 9. The forecast was down 4.5. Chicago Purchaser Manager Index came in a little bit hotter than expected. This is a big week for rates. Why is that? This week is all about jobs. Tomorrow we have JOLT, job opening labor turnover. That's going to be at 0900 hours. We've got Dallas Fed PC, personal consumption expenditure. Okay, so, a lot going on, you all. A lot going on. Just really, really amazing. So, Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index. So, the Dallas Fed conducts the Texas Manufacturing Outlook Survey monthly to obtain a timely assessment of the state factory activity. Firms are asked whether output, employment, orders, prices, and other indicators increase, decrease, or remain unchanged over the previous month. Survey responses are used to calculate an index for each indicator. Each index is calculated by subtracting the percentage of respondents, so it kind of goes there. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as positive, bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as negative or bearish. So it's really a matter of, is that sector expanding or is that sector contracting? And we can see that that sector has been contracting for a very, very long time, and it's still contracting. more so than forecast. So it's anything related to the Texas manufacturing outlook, from employment to orders to prices, anything related to manufacturing. Very good question. Excellent question. So tomorrow we've got the JOLT, Job Opening Labor Turnover Report. In essence, how many jobs are available right now? How many quits? How many fired? And then we go into Wednesday. We've got mortgage data coming out Wednesday. We've got ADP non-farm employment. They are expecting it to go up from 99 to 124,000. But the big one is going to be on Friday. Now, Thursday's big. You've got a lot of employment, a lot of manufacturing, factory order, durable goods, PMI prices, very important. But the big one is really going to be Friday. That is when we're going to find out the state of employment in the country. What is going on with jobs? We all know that a lot of companies laid off people, from Boeing, getting better at it, to a bunch of companies. We had thousands and thousands of layoffs. Is that going to move the needle on the unemployment rate? What's going to happen with that? The challenge is this, is that, the Fed cut rates by 50 basis points. And what happens if unemployment increases? And turns out we do not have a very healthy job market. Well, they have tools in their tool belt, which is what? Well, then they can lower rates again by cutting further next time they meet. They can even do an emergency cut. That, of course, is going to affect interest rates. But as of now, the bond market is actually up 3.1 basis points. We started off the day high, went lower, and then we've recovered. Not as much as the high that we started at 7 a.m., but we are up 3.2 basis points. Still lower than we were 5 days ago. So with all of this, what's happening with local rates? We're holding steady from Friday. 6.125 conventional 30-year, 5.875 conventional 15-year. FHA, 5.625. That's very positive. VA, 5.75. USDA, we don't do many of those anymore. 5.5. Jumbo 30-year, 6.625. Investor conventional, 20% down with 7.25. That's not bad for a investor loan, 20% down. So there is your Monday morning market recap, you all. Just giving you a very, very fast overview of the entire market. It's going to be a very busy week when you look at market conditions. Of course, we're going to be updating the new listing to pending ratio tomorrow. I'm going to email you the updated new listing to pending ratio tomorrow so you can see exactly where we ended. But all of these are updated. So whether you go to price per foot, percentile analysis, you know what? Let me do this. Let's take a look really quick on residential price, because this is really interesting. When you look at the residential price, I went ahead and wrote an article this morning on teamprice.com showing viewers what's going on with pricing, because this is probably my favorite chart. We have average list price in Austin MLS peaked April 2024 at $709,318. So now we have a drop on the average list price. We were experiencing drops on the median list price and on the sold price, but now we've experienced a peak and we're experiencing a drop on the list price. Remember, for years, from May 2022 all the way till April, there was this massive disconnect between buyers and sellers, where the list price, like, I want $1 million. And we were like, nothing is selling for $1 million in your area. Like, it's selling for $850,000. But sellers were hunkering down. They're like, I don't care what comps say. I don't care what the market is commanding. I want this for my property. Well, now we've reached a peak list price. Now the list price is going down. And the average list price is down by 6.3%. The median list price peaked May 2022. That was the regular market peak. That's down 13.9%. The average sold price for the entire MLS, down 18.6%. The median sold price for the entire MLS, like the previous that I showed you, this right here, this is for the 6-county area. So when I show you this, the median price is down 22.73%. That's for the 6-county area. The entire MLS, the median sold price from the market peak is down 21.9%. The average price per foot and the median price per foot is down 22.5%, which is amazing. The average price per foot peaked April 2022 at $324. It's at $251 right now. So buyers are seeing value in Austin real estate with lower rates. That's why we're noticing a little bit of an increase right here this month, September, versus last year versus last month. Because I'm seeing deals right now that I'm just blown away. What about City of Austin? Same thing, City of Austin. Average list price is down 2.5%. Median list price is down 5.1%. Average sold price from peak down 14.8. Median sold price from peak down 16.2. Average sold price per foot from peak down 21.7. Median sold price per foot from peak, which was April 2022, down 21.9%. So we are seeing value in today's market. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you something. Y'all, someone give me a zip code, and we're going to find the property that's come back on the market that had the biggest price drop in that specific zip code. So 78728. Can we do this really quick? It is 11:03, but this is a worthwhile exercise. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 78728. 78728, because I love the MLS. We've got 31 properties that are currently on the market. So I want to go backwards in time. And I want to see, did a buyer get a deal? And I want to go back 180 days. 64 properties. And you notice how my display says view? I have my custom display here. And I encourage you to go ahead and just create your own custom display, because I love having exactly the information that I need to help you all, help clients and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and just export this, and it's going to give me a Excel spreadsheet. And here is the Excel spreadsheet. Let me adjust this to where it covers the screen. And because I already have the original price and the list price and the close price, I'm going to add 2 columns here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to freeze the top row. I now like to make this bold, and I like to make this gray so that when I scroll down, the header stays the same. And let me adjust the column a little bit. Okay, perfect. So I've got the information that I want. So now I'm going to do drop, and I'm going to do original price to list price, and I'm going to do drop LP to CP. And I'm going to insert 2 columns, and I'm going to do percentage drop and then percentage drop. So drop equals the original price minus the list price. Oh, it's the other way around. List price minus original price. I don't know what I was thinking. List price minus original price.
Dan, you clicked on close priced.
Oh, yeah, I'll change it. Minus list price minus original price. So we're going to go list price minus original price. Am I doing that right? Let's make sure. Yes, we are. So now we've got the percentage drop, and we're going to do this divided by the original list. And we're going to change this to a percentage. Perfect. Now we've got the close price minus the list price, CP minus LP. And thank you, Sonia, for letting me know that. I appreciate it. So we've got CP minus LP. And we've got this divided by the close price. Close price or list price. And let's go ahead and make it a percentage. Do 1 decimal. Perfect. So, and you know what? Let's do, should we do close by original price? I want to do that. Closed minus original price. How does that sound? So we've got drop CP minus OP and then percentage drop. So we're going to have the close price minus the original list price. And we're going to do currency. There we go. And then we've got this divided by the original list price. So let's now sort it based on this column. See how fast that was to do that? Takes 2 seconds, y'all. And let's sort this. Look at this property. Originally listed for $419,000, dropped down to $365,000, $325,000 close price. That's a $94,000 discount from the original list price. That is amazing. That's a 22. Let me make this bigger for y'all to see. Is that better? That is a 22% drop. That's incredible. That is amazing. And I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to do this right here on the date section. Let me just write date, and I'm going to do the listing date minus I'm going to do the pending date minus the list date. Oh, come on. Pending date minus the list date. And I want number of days. Okay, so now I'm going to do the difference. This equals this. False. False. So this is where we can see what's going on with a few. You see how you have true and false? I'm going to go to conditional format, highlight that equals false. So why am I doing this? Let's take a look at one that says true. All right, so here you've got a property that says true, and I'm going to highlight this so I can scroll left and see this same property. Now let me grab this MLS number and let me go to this property. And let's take a look at history. So this property, new, price drop, pending, closed. Now, let me take a look at a property like the first one that I believe says false. And let's see.
Sorry, that's a lease. Does it matter?
Oh, okay. So this one right here. Oh, yeah. So this one back on the market. So, oh yeah. Thank you for pointing out that this one right here is a lease. So this one right here. Yeah, actually, this is perfect. Take a look at this. This one right here. Okay. So list date 3/7, pending date 5/29. So 83 days on the market. The difference between the list date and the pending date, exactly 83 days. This is a property that we pulled up. But this property shows that it went back on the market. It went on hold and then back on the market same day. That's why it didn't add to the days on the market, because it was actually exactly the same day. But let me take a look at a property that says false, and this is going to be the first one. The first property. So let's take a look at this one really quick. And let's see what happened in the history with this property. And look at this. Active under contract, back on the market. After what? After 3 days. So it came back on the market after 3 days. And then it went pending, and then it went closed. So you can see the number of properties that came back on the market. These are all the ones that says false. And when you look at if the number of days is like quite a bit more, you can see, and let's just do let me go and do one more thing here. I'm going to do difference T. So I'm going to go this minus this. So 3 days. So in essence, how long was it under contract for? Or how long was it off the market for? Here's this one. Let me take a look at this property really quick. This one, Wells Branch, love Wells Branch. And let's see the history of this property. Oh, back on the market twice. New, hold, back on the market, hold, back on the market. Then price drop under contract pending closed. Wonder why they put it on hold twice. You know what some agents were doing? I don't know. I'm not going to say that this agent was doing that. I have no idea. But we all know that some agents were putting properties on hold when it was actually under contract. I don't know if they did this or not. I have no idea. Well, here's the thing, you all. This same little calculation that I did, you can do that on properties that are currently active on the market. And that's what I recommend that you do. So let's go back to 78728. And this is the only way to do that. There's no other way to do that. That's why you've got to be proficient in Excel. So I've got the list date and I've got the days on the market. So let me export this as a Excel spreadsheet. Because what I'm going to do, I don't need this. I certainly don't need closed. Anytime I'm working on Excel, first thing I do is I freeze the top row. Then what do? I make it bold. Then I just make it grayish so that I can actually see it. So now I'm going to put today's date here on top. And this is 9/30/2024. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go the list date, or I'm going to go today's date, and I'm going to lock this field. How do I lock this field? Well, I'm going to do F4. If you F4 this field, then you actually lock it. So, let me lock this field. This is actually function F4. There we go. I locked it. So I've got this minus the list date. So when I copy this, it locks. You see, when I go down to this field, it locks. So when you do F4, it locks that. So now I'm going to do the difference. And I'm going to do this equals this. And true or false? Oh, we've got one false. We've got two false. So now I know we got three false. I like using conditional format. So we've got conditional format, highlight that equals false. So I've got three false. So now I know that out of the 31 properties that are currently on the market in the 78728 zip code, 3 went under contract and came back on the market. Why is this important? What do y'all think? Why is this important? Why is it important for us as agents to figure this out? If a property went under contract, that means someone found it desirable. Does that mean that there's something wrong with the property? Oh, it must be foundation problems. Y'all, some of the best properties I've ever sold in my career were properties the buyer just kind of walked away. It could be 1,000 reasons. Could it be foundation? Well, if it is, then the seller could be providing a crazy good concession. Look at this property on the market, 530 down to 489. We know it came back on the market. So let's take a look at this property really quick and just to see what's going on with this one. We know it went under contract or it was put on hold. Maybe it was put on hold, but we know based on that formula that the property was either on hold or went under contract. And we can see that there we have it. Active under contract on 8/3, back on the market. There you have it. There you have it. Right? Could be no reason. Who knows? No, yeah. So it was under contract. The buyers canceled after the inspection. No reason given. Could certainly be the case. I love finding these properties because I like to find properties where someone else saw value in that property, went under contract. Now it's back on the market. And now the seller has a higher likelihood of negotiating with a buyer. It's like, because a lot of people are going to view this property as being stigmatized when I'm not going to make that determination. Let me see this one. And there is no other way. There is no MLS field that allows you to like, oh, show me only the properties that came back on the market. No, this is the only way to do that. Cute house. I like it. This is nice staging. Cute house. Cute house. I love this house. And let's take a look at the history. We've got this property. Did it go under contract or on hold? Let's take a look at it. This property went under contract, back on the market. No price drop yet, but this is another opportunity. Does this house have a swimming pool? It looks like it does have a swimming pool. Beautiful. Little sunroom, swimming pool, beautiful house. I love it. So that's a little trick for you all on how to find properties that came back on the market. Went under contract or put on hold, active under contract or pending or put on hold, came back on the market. You take a look at the days on the market. You create a very simple little calculation where you subtract today's date to the listing date. That's going to give you the true days on the market. Because once it goes under contract, the days on the market locks. And when the true days on the market and the MLS days on the market is different, that's your trigger. That's your, hey, out of these 30 properties, these 3 went under contract, came back on the market. That is now your opportunity to see if there's value there. Is there a deal there? Could very well be a deal. It just allows you just to comb through a lot of information in a really, really quick way. That's why any investor that I've ever worked with, regardless of market conditions, if they're like, Dan, go find me a deal, give me 24 hours. Give me 24 hours and I will find a deal no matter what, because I'm looking for these key indicators. I'm looking for properties that had a price drop, came back on the market, went under contract, back on the market. That's what I'm looking for. So you all, I just wanted to do that little bit of a segue for you so that you could see the opportunities in today's market, do a complete overview of the market. Any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, complaints? I want to open this up to see if anyone has any questions. I want to remind you that tomorrow we have a broker mentorship. Tomorrow we've got broker mentorship. Be sure to join us live in person here at the office, 10 a.m. mentorship meeting. Love that meeting. One of my favorite meetings of the entire week. We've got our training Wednesday over Zoom. That's when we do broker Q&A, contract review, and training. And then we've got our awesome meeting on Friday. On Thursday, you should have received an email from Megan with Patent Title. Did you get an email from Megan from Patent Title? Megan is putting together a really cool little workshop here at the office. This is free for you to come. So let me go ahead and just put this over here. Megan is absolutely great. She is fantastic. And this is for the patent title app. I use this app all the time. This is the Pat App Deep Dive Crash Course. This is great. I use it. Y'all, this is my go-to app when it comes to buyer closing costs, monthly payments. It is great. I've got it on my phone. So if you want a crash course on this, she made herself available. I'm not doing this meeting. She's doing it. It's going to be better. She's going to be amazing. Send her an email. I'm not coordinating it. I'm going to have my door locked because I'm working on stats. This is all her. But if you want to be educated on using this app, which is an amazing app, that's what I use, send her an email, show up. It's going to be at the smaller training room, and get a crash course on how to use that app. It's a fantastic app. This is not a C course or anything like that. This is just equipping and empowering you with resources that you will absolutely use. It is 11:22 a.m. Thank you all so very much for joining. Super appreciate it. If there are no questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, complaints, or compliments, then have an amazing Monday. Have an amazing rest of your week. I hope to see you Team Price agents tomorrow for our mentorship meeting. And I will chat with you all later. Thank you all so very much for joining our Monday morning touch point. Have an amazing rest of your day.